No, 100%. I agree with that. But it is good to have certain conversations.
Oh, for
To just
sure. I don't
but
get
there,
upset at
but there
all.
are but there are people that want to upset you or upset people that and they
Yeah,
just
yeah,
they
yeah.
make no sense. In their they attack
No, but
basically instead
but
of
they
conversation.
but we have spent. I mean, I think the one thing that's so great about philosophy, theology, faith is that it's not operating on TikTok's timeline. It's not operating on YouTube's timeline. It's not operating on the internet's timeline. It's talking about stuff that's like we're talking about this thing that happened 200 years ago. We're talking about this thing that's happened 500 years ago, 2000 years ago. It's operating on a completely different scale of time that gives you kind of an anchor to kind of be like, okay, you want to talk about this thing that's new? All right, I'm going. I have a rock that has been standing for a long time, and you can go with your new pebbles that sort of make ripples in a wave like a little bit of water. But when I throw my stone into the ocean, it's going to change everything or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know what my metaphor was, but that kind of thing. So
And upon this rock, I will build my church. He once
exactly,
said. So,
El
and that's what
Señor.
we're talking about. Actually, a big part of the show is going to have to be the successor of Peter, the Pope
Mm,
Leo the 14th. I want to talk about what kind of pope is he going to be, and then of course we're going to get into everything else that we got lined up. So
hmm
that's just the cherry on top. But first of all, we have the first American pope ever, which
mm.
people said that was never going to happen. And
No.
I'll actually argue that we needed it the most. To be
Yes.
fair, so um, and he's also Peruvian. We mentioned that. Obviously, everybody knows that he actually
Adopted son of
adopted son
Peru.
from Peru, which is good. He knows what Latin America it goes through in the poor countries. So he
Yeah.
has a worldwide perspective on things. He's not just this
Mm.
American guy that grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. So so but also he speaks so many languages, which is unbelievable.
hmm
I could find it really hard actually to just put that in. How can you speak so many? German he speaks, French,
I
Italian.
come from that. My grandfather was a Frenchman. He spoke 7 languages.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. It is.
Yeah.
So he can communicate with. That's probably one of his biggest assets. He can communicate with anybody in fluently with no issues. He's somebody that a president, like a leader of like you'd say the United States, for example, when Pope Francis had something to say about the
It
borders,
was it could
he
only be in
said,
Spanish.
Yeah, he said I can't take lessons from an Argentinian guy. Well, you can't say the same thing to to Pope Francis. He knows exactly
Mm.
what it is to be an
hmm
American.
hmm
So he can have these tough conversations with world leaders, and he has been
hmm
actually right now. He's calling for these wars to stop, and it needs to
As
stop.
as every pope has through history, as much as we try and put these holy figures into our little box of what's happening now. Oh, is he a Republican? Is he a Democrat? Is he a communist? Is he a capitalist? And for someone who's of faith, you are a Catholic. You
Yeah,
follow the social stories of Catholicism. They don't all fit into the boxes, right? All popes, all heads of churches. If you go back to the popes during World War I, World War II, did they make mistakes? They're men. Of course they did. But they all called for peace, always. One of the famous things, I recently bought this. I wish I had it down here. I bought a replica World War I rosary that was a military issue. Very cool,
yeah,
stainless steel. But these guys have been doing it, or pictures of chaplains on the beaches at Normandy performing last rites or performing Holy Communion. The church is always there, and it always preaches peace. It is a peaceful faith, more so than probably any other. Famously, even when it was at the height of its power in the 13th and 12th century, when there was punishments to be doled out, it was not by the church that did it. It would ask the king to be like, this person is a heretic, he needs to be, off to whatever. It was never by the church. Someone else had to do it. So the church never committed any death. They never killed anyone directly. So they've always had these little tricks.